We began with the FBI at Dolton Village Hall. Elizabeth Matthews reports many in the south suburbs believe this is only the tip of the iceberg. Elizabeth.
Dawn, the mayor here has been accused of misusing funds. The mayor and a trustee are being sued for an alleged sexual assault against a former village employee. The village administrator now facing bankruptcy fraud charges. And today, this afternoon, federal agents popping in Village Hall looking for some information.
The house of cards are collapsing. I think the government is taking action.
It's normally bad news when federal agents stop by a village hall looking for documents, but that's not bad news to many in Dolton.
Months and months and months, we've been begging for someone to come out here and actually investigate as to what's actually going on out here.
Video appears to show those federal agents inside Village Hall Friday afternoon, where we've learned they were serving 2 subpoenas. One focuses on employment and disciplinary records of 25 Village of Dolton employees, including 3 police officers and Keith Freeman, the senior administrator recently charged with bankruptcy fraud. The other subpoena focuses on Freeman and any potential involvement with certain companies, whether or not they received any money, had business or contracts relating to the village. One trustee says Mayor Tiffany Henyard has left them in the dark for months.
Since September, we haven't received financials. And the last time we did receive financials, we were informed that we were $7 million in debt.
The Legislative Counsel for the Board of Trustees says the feds may have a tough time getting the documents they're requesting.
The clerk is the custodian of the records. That's the good news. The bad news is she doesn't have any records because they have taken the records away from her.
I was being told that those documents probably have been shredded weeks ago.
The news of the feds' Friday visit even drawing a crowd near Village Hall, as many in the community support an investigation into Henyard's practices. The trustees even hiring former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot this month to investigate the Dolton mayor.
The people of Dolton want to be rescued. They know they're bleeding. And they know there's no money left, and they live there. And so what's next? Police services, fire services, water, what's next?
The FBI did confirm that they were conducting court-authorized law enforcement activity in this area today, but could not comment further. Tonight, Mayor Tiffany Henyard posting on Facebook, pointing out that this was not a so-called FBI raid here at Village Hall, also adding in a statement, quote, "To all you clowns, that's a part of the circus. Misery needs company. I pray for you all. Stop chasing fake news." Live in Dolton tonight, Elizabeth Matthews, Fox 32, Chicago.
Tiffany Henyard. Controversy surrounds the mayor of Dolton, Illinois. Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dolton, Illinois, has been embroiled in a series of allegations and controversies that have cast a long shadow over her administration. Critics argue that she may be one of the most controversial mayors in the United States. Accusations range from corruption and extravagant misuse of taxpayer funds to covering up a sexual assault. These serious claims have not only tarnished the mayor's reputation, but have also attracted the attention of federal authorities, including the FBI. Allegations of corruption and misuse of funds. Since taking office, Henyard has faced multiple accusations concerning the misuse of public funds. Reports suggest that taxpayer money has been spent on personal luxuries, raising questions about the integrity of her financial management. These allegations point to a pattern of lavish expenditure that is at odds with the expectations of public office. Sexual assault cover-up claims. One of the most severe accusations against Henyard involves an alleged cover-up of a sexual assault. This claim, if proven true, could have severe legal and ethical implications for her administration. The nature of these allegations and the purported involvement of people close to the mayor's office have intensified public and media scrutiny. FBI involvement and investigations. The gravity of the accusations has prompted the FBI to step in, with investigations intensifying as federal subpoenas are issued. This level of federal involvement suggests that the allegations are not only serious, but also extensive, involving multiple facets of her administration. Hiring of Lori Lightfoot for further investigation. In a significant development, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has been brought on board to conduct a more thorough investigation into the allegations against Henyard. Lightfoot's legal expertise and experience in managing a major city's complex legal challenges make her a formidable figure in this unfolding drama. Her involvement underscores the severity of the situation and the need for an experienced hand to untangle the complex accusations. The future of Dolton's leadership. As the investigations continue, the residents of Dolton are left with uncertainty about their leadership's integrity. The outcomes of these investigations will likely have a profound impact on the political landscape of Dolton and could influence future governance reforms. The situation in Dolton serves as a reminder of the critical importance of transparency and accountability in public office. As the community awaits answers, the broader implications of these controversies could resonate well beyond the borders of the small Illinois town, highlighting the ongoing challenges in political ethics and governance.
Reporting in Dolton.
South suburban Dolton.
Dolton.
In Dolton.
In Dolton.
More drama in Dolton tonight. To talk about this political showdown in a South suburban community, residents and trustees in Dolton passed a resolution calling for an investigation into the mayor's administration and spending. But the mayor vetoed that resolution. NBC5's Christian Farr has a reaction from Dolton and a look at what happens next.
We can always expect for the administration to use a lot of smoke and mirrors.
Dolton trustee Brittany Norwood says she and a majority of her fellow village trustees will not stop in their fight to save the village. For the past several months, Norwood says certain trustees have been prevented from seeing Dolton's financial statements.
Calling for an investigation of Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Which is why last month those trustees passed that resolution during a special meeting where Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard was not in attendance.
We feel that it's extremely important to have the authorities come in and force this administration to provide us with the information needed so that we can provide it to the residents regarding how the money is being spent.
I must let the public know that the actions of the board are illegal.
Yesterday, during a regular scheduled board meeting, Mayor Henyard vetoed that resolution, and before doing it, listed all the good things her administration has done for the residents of Dolton.
We help pay your light bill, gas bill, water bill. We even help you bury loved ones. We even did a mortgage and rental assistance, which was really, really dope.
But when they still had access to Dolton's financial statements, trustee Norwood says the village was $7 million in debt and suspects that that number has grown since then. Trustee Norwood says some vendors have been coming to them to figure out how to get paid, and the latest bill came from a vendor contracted to make posters.
The mayor plans to poster around town with her picture on it, with cute sayings, and we're saying, hey, how can we afford this if we're in a deficit?
Trustee Norwood and the other trustees who supported that investigation hope to override the veto by their next board meeting on April 1st. In Dolton, Christian Farr, NBC5 News.
The misuse of funds is among the many allegations discussed in South suburban Dolton today. Residents got a chance to tell village trustees what their concerns are, including a multi-million-dollar deficit and multiple lawsuits the village is facing. NBC5's V. Wendt has the story.
Dozens of Dolton residents filled this room at Lester Long facility Saturday morning for an event with the trustees. The special guest speaker, Dr. Nicole Scott.
We just got to keep pushing forward.
She's the founder of American Association of Single Parents and says she's been running into problems with the village over plans to renovate her property downtown and to expand their food pantry, Free Indeed Market.
Last year alone, we served over 20,000 individuals, and we need to expand, and they will not allow us to do that.
Since last July, she's been trying to get approval for permits and licensing from the village with no movement, she says, and now believes Mayor Tiffany Henyard and her administration may have special interest in her property.
I think their goal and hope is to take the property from us, to get it through eminent domain.
NBC5 reached out to the village of Dolton asking about Scott's specific case. The village administrator telling us in a statement, quote, "We are deeply disturbed by Dr. Nicole Scott's false allegations. She has not fulfilled the requirements in order to secure permits by the village of Dolton under the village code." He goes on to cite property tax issues and says the property has also failed multiple inspections.
What they're saying is not true. It took them 6 months to tell me that the things that I submitted were not sufficient. And I think that that is a stall that is them trying to, wait me out.
This comes amid allegations from residents and trustees over Henyard's misuse of public funds, lavish spending, and mispayments to vendors. Several trustees telling NBC5 the village faces a growing $7 million deficit and multiple lawsuits. Some residents voiced their frustrations and concerns over the current administration.
Guys, we need to take the heart and put it back in Dolton.
Not only is it not entertaining, it is an injustice to the people who have no. We need to take our village back.
Meanwhile, Dr. Nicole Scott says she is trying to raise money to hire an attorney to take her fight against the village to court. Reporting in Dolton, V1 NBC5 News.
More drama in Dolton tonight. Several trustees are calling on the mayor and another village trustee to resign.
Both are at the center of an investigation. NBC5's Regina Waldrop started working on this case 6 months ago. She joins us now with more on what she's learned. Regina.
Marion and Stefan, we obtained copies of complaints accusing Mayor Tiffany Henyard and an unnamed Dolton trustee of sexual harassment, retaliation, and discrimination. And the Department of Human Rights tells us it is investigating. At the center of it all, a trip they all took last year to Las Vegas and a sexual encounter one woman says was not consensual.
There are 6 elected trustees on the Dolton Village Board. Some of them joined Mayor Tiffany Henyard last May on an economic development trip to Las Vegas. It was on that trip that the mayor's now former assistant claims she was the victim of an unwanted sexual encounter carried out by an unnamed Dolton trustee. She filed this complaint with the Department of Human Rights. According to the woman's complaint, after having dinner with the unnamed trustee, she started to feel disoriented. Then she blacked out. The next morning, she woke up in the trustee's hotel room with no memory of how she got there, experiencing physical discomfort. Officer Byron Miles, who was part of Mayor Henyard's security detail at the time, also filed a complaint with the Human Rights Department. He also went on that trip to Vegas and says in his complaint, the unnamed trustee called him on the phone and told him he had unprotected sex with the woman. In the complaint, he says he recorded some of their conversation. According to both complaints, the woman says when she told the mayor about the incident, the mayor said if this information became public, she'd be ruined. All the work she'd done would be lost. The ex-employee says the mayor told her she would take care of it and to trust her. Days later, according to her complaint, the woman was put on unpaid medical leave without her consent. She was later terminated. Trustees Tammy Brown, Kiana Belcher, and Brittany Norwood did not go on that trip to Vegas. By a show of hands, how many of you knew about these allegations? They tell NBC5 they're stunned to learn about the investigation by the Department of Human Rights and the allegations made by the mayor's former assistant.
That could have been any one of us. That could have been either trustee. That could be anybody. I'm furious. This makes no sense. I'm hurt and I'm furious. That means that these people have known about this for some time. It's almost a year later.
The biggest fear is always, how far is this going to go before someone gets hurt? And now I feel like this is what it's come to.
The trustees say the mayor should have immediately launched an investigation. They're calling on the mayor and the unnamed trustee to resign.
For you to cover up something like this, allegations of someone doing this to someone, is horrible. And you cannot lead the village of Dolton under these circumstances. Everybody involved, if you hold a position, you should resign immediately. There's already enough shame being brought to this village. How much more? How much more?
In a statement, Trustee Jason House says he did not go on that trip to Vegas. NBC5 reached out to the 2 remaining trustees for comment, but didn't hear back. The village, in a statement, told NBC5 it conducted a thorough investigation into these allegations led by an independent third-party company. The statement goes on to say former police officer Miles was interviewed and denied knowing anything about these allegations, and the alleged victim refused to cooperate with our investigation. The statement continues, this is nothing more than 2 disgruntled village employees trying to make off with the taxpayers' hard-earned dollars. The village looks forward to defending these allegations and pursuing all other available remedies to the village.
To clarify, Byron Miles is still a Dolton police officer. Now, we asked the trustees if Officer Miles should have done more if he knew an unwanted sexual encounter occurred. They told us they're still digesting the allegations. And NBC5 did reach out to the attorney for Officer Miles and the alleged victim for a statement. Marion and Stephen, still a lot of work to do with this story.
All right, Regina, we know you'll be on top of it. Thank you so much.
A South Suburban official tonight says if the allegations against Dolton's mayor are true, she should step down from the 2 government positions she holds.
He told that to our Regina Waldrop, who was at tonight's Thornton Township Board Trustees meeting.
We in the news every single day.
Referring to herself as super mayor.
Hey, I'm the first super mayor.
Tiffany Henyard had lots to say during Tuesday night's Thornton Township Board of Trustees meeting, but she left without taking any questions.
Vegas mayor.
NBC5 obtained copies of complaints accusing Mayor Henyard and an unnamed Village of Dolton trustee of sexual harassment, retaliation, and discrimination. And the Department of Human Rights tells NBC5 it is investigating. The complaints are focused on what allegedly happened on an economic development trip to Las Vegas last May. The mayor's now former assistant claims she was the victim of an unwanted sexual encounter carried out by that unnamed Dolton trustee, and as a result, filed this complaint. According to her complaint, after having dinner with the trustee, she started to feel disoriented. Then she blacked out. The next morning, she woke up in the trustee's hotel room with no memory of how she got there, experiencing physical discomfort. Officer Byron Miles, who was part of Mayor Henyard's security detail at the time, also filed a complaint with the Human Rights Department. He also went on that trip to Las Vegas and says in his complaint, the trustee called him on the phone and told him he had unprotected sex with the woman. In the complaint, he says he recorded some of their conversation. According to both complaints, the woman says when she told the mayor about the incident, the mayor said if the information became public, she would be ruined, that all the work she'd done would be lost. The ex-employee says the mayor told her she would take care of it and to trust her. Days later, according to her complaint, the woman says she was put on unpaid medical leave without her consent and later terminated. At Tuesday night's meeting, Thornton Township trustee Christopher Gonzalez called the allegations serious.
It's just unacceptable. It's disgusting. I mean, if that's true, that there was an assault happened and then it was tried to whatever. I mean, I'm not exactly sure, but if there was attempt at a cover-up or something like that, then like I said, yeah, that's just unacceptable.
Gonzalez says if the allegations made against the mayor are found to be true, she should step down from both of her positions as mayor and Thornton Township supervisor. If,
all these things come to where they've been proven and, action has been taken, I mean, I don't see how, she could continue as a township supervisor.
As for Dolton, the village board is expected to meet Monday night at 6:30. Reporting from South Holland, I'm Regina Waldrop, NBC5 News.
Tonight, Dolton residents have a chance to get some answers about a controversy surrounding their village leaders. The mayor is expected to address an investigation into a trip to Las Vegas that sparked serious accusations. NBC5's Regina Waldrop on the story for us. She joins us live in Dolton tonight with much more. Regina?
Now, Allison, that trip to Las Vegas happened last year. It is listed as a discussion item on tonight's agenda. Many of the residents I talked to said they plan to be here hoping to get some answers about these serious allegations. Concern is growing among residents in South Suburban Dolton.
It's just too much rumor about it. It's too much negativity. Something has to be done. Dolton needs help.
Everybody needs answers to what's going on.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard and an unnamed village trustee now at the center of an investigation by the Illinois Department of Human Rights. The probe is focused on what allegedly happened on an economic development trip to Las Vegas last May. On that trip, Mayor Henyard and a handful of village reps, including 2 village trustees and her former assistant who filed this complaint. We're not naming the woman because NBC5 does not name people who possibly were a victim of a sexual assault. According to the complaint, the woman felt disoriented, lightheaded, and ultimately blacked out after dinner with the unnamed Dolton trustee. She says she woke up in the trustee's bedroom, physically uncomfortable and with no memory of how she got there. The complaint details a conversation between the woman and Dolton police officer Byron Miles when they returned from Las Vegas. Officer Miles, who was a member of the mayor's security detail on that trip, says the trustee claimed he had unprotected sex with her. Miles has also filed a complaint with the Department of Human Rights. According to both complaints, the mayor said that if this information became public, she'd be ruined. The woman says she was put on unpaid medical leave and later terminated. Mary Avant, who has lived in Dolton for almost 30 years, says if the allegations are true, action needs to be taken.
If it's true that she tried to cover it up, she needs to step down. She needs to step down, period, but she needs to step down pending this investigation.
In a statement to NBC5, the village says it conducted a thorough investigation into these allegations led by an independent third-party company. The statement goes on to say this is nothing more than two disgruntled village employees trying to make off with the taxpayers' hard-earned dollars. The village looks forward to defending these allegations. And again, a lot of residents that I talked to today said they plan to be here for tonight's special meeting. It gets underway at 6:30, and of course, we will be here as well. That's the very latest from Dolton. I'm Regina Waldrop, NBC5 News.
Tonight in South Suburban Dolton, residents got the chance to address the controversy surrounding embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Complaints include sexual harassment, retaliation, and discrimination, and a controversial trip to Las Vegas last May. NBC5's Regina Waldrop was at tonight's meeting in Dolton.
A concerned community seeking answers.
I know you're going to ask for an investigation. I'm hoping that means the administration will have nothing to do with it.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard was absent from this special Dolton Village Board meeting. She and a village trustee who is not named are at the center of an investigation by the Illinois Department of Human Rights. The probe is focused on what allegedly happened on an economic development trip to Las Vegas last May. Henyard's former assistant who filed this complaint claims she was sexually assaulted by an unnamed Dolton trustee on that trip. We're not naming the woman because NBC5 does not name people who possibly were a victim of a sexual assault. In a statement, the village told NBC5 it conducted a thorough investigation into these allegations led by an independent third-party company. The statement goes on to say this is nothing more than a disgruntled village employee trying to make off with the taxpayers' hard-earned dollars. Trustee Jason House says the village board knew nothing about that investigation and are now asking for their own independent investigation into what happened on that trip to Vegas.
We are also seeking direction to ask our attorney to find an independent body that has subpoena authority to conduct an investigation, so that way we know it's independent, it's thorough. We really feel like this puts the village at complete jeopardy because this trip, this was a village paid for trip.
And when it comes to finances, trustees who were here tonight say they recently won a court case getting the clerk's name back on the village bank account. They say it had been improperly removed. The next Dolton Village Board meeting is set for April 1st. Regina Waldrop, NBC5 News.